introduce our topic for today. We want to introduce to you our work with our Association 4.0 think tank, New Rules, New Roles, and New Growth, and it's presented by Sherry.
Hi, thanks everyone for joining. For the past year, we have been working with the orgCommunity think tank and conducting research to learn about how the next industrial revolution will impact our industry. So today I'm going to share with you some of our initial findings, and if you'd like to get involved in these workshops in the future, we'd be happy to provide you with more information. During today's webinar, we will connect Industry 4.0 to the Association 4.0, provide you with information on the forces driving change and disruption. I will also cover challenges and opportunities for your organization and what you need to do to transform your organization and how to innovate in a digital world. The highly valued role for association professionals is being disrupted by an intensely networked interdisciplinary world. Many of the traditional functions of the association can now be achieved through solutions like self-organizing networks, distributed accreditation, and knowledge sharing platforms. Powerful driving forces across the business, technology, and society are shaping the world in very unforeseen ways. Online and mobile communication, generational changes, rising customer expectations, and many more issues raise vital challenges for associations. So it's becoming difficult, and the associations no longer have the corner on the professional education market. Associations today are now competing with education dollars while volunteer time is becoming more limited and governance structures are creating barriers for innovation. Technology, along with government regulations and typical association governance structures, will also have an impact on both the associations and the professions they serve. So what we're really looking at is how do we lead through this disruption and rapid technology revolution with courage, and what are the risks that associations may have to take to move their organizations forward in this environment. As mentioned, we've been conducting extensive research on how associations can thrive as we enter the next industrial revolution through workshops, interviews, and surveys. This journey, we've been inspired by CEOs who are leading their organizations with great success stories, and we'll be sharing these stories and providing lessons learned through different formats to help advance the association industry and the industries that you serve. Today I'm going to highlight some of this content that we're developing, but as our resources are published, we are going to take you through a process that will help your organization as we move into the fourth industrial revolution and provide a model for the future association and what we're calling Association 4.0. We'll help you identify how you can take the next steps to succeed in this exciting world. So today we're going to provide you with a few ideas and strategies that we've been working through. But just to give you some background, there are many technology forces that's going to be shaping our future very soon. Digital innovations are coming to maturity rapidly and transforming companies across the globe with the use of various technologies, which some that I have here on the presentation. But the world is becoming very complex, and devices are going to start to make their own decisions, and connecting people to technology and connecting people to people and are ways that are going to be transformed society as we see it today. So just to give you kind of a little bit of history, the first industrial revolution became in Britain in the late 18th century. And this happened with the textile industry. Tasks that were previously done by hand in hundreds of weavers' cottages were brought together in a single cotton mill, and that's how the factories were born. So during this first industrial revolution, we saw the beginning of a wage economy and different types of employment. So the first industrial revolution also brought to us the first association that emerged. The second industrial revolution came in the early 20th century when Henry Ford mastered the moving assembly line and ushered the age of mass production. The first two industrial revolutions made people richer and more urban. This was also the rise of associations, including the start of the American Association of Public Accountants and the American Seed Trade Association. So most of us have experienced living through the digital revolution, which enabled manufacturing to go digital. This third revolution, the digital revolution, is a change from mechanical to digital electronics. This began anywhere between the time of the 1950s to the late 1970s with the proliferation of digital computers and digital recording devices. So this really is what became known as the information age. And during this time, there was an acceleration of associations and the obligation to belong, as well as the rise of living standards. Now, through this information age, a number of remarkable technologies are now converging. We're seeing more robots, new processes with 3D printing, a whole range of web-based services. The factory of the past was based on cranking out zillions of identical products. However, the factory of the future will focus on mass customization. The old way of thinking involved taking lots of parts, screwing or welding them together, but now products can be designed on a computer, printed on a 3D printer, which creates a solid object by building up successes of layers and materials. The digital design can be tweaked with a few mouse clicks. The 3D printer can be run unattended and can make many things which are too complex for traditional factories available. The application of 3D printing is really becoming mind-boggling. Many associations that we know are already exploring on how they may use 3D printing. 3D printers alone have produced the first car. The next 3D printers will create human body parts and even weapons. Industry 4.0 is a current trend of automation and data exchange in manufacturing technology. It creates what has been called smart factory. So with the smart factory, we are seeing a convergence of virtually the virtual world and the physical world coming together. So why are we focusing so much on studying the impact of the next industrial revolution and its impact on associations? We see that the next revolution will have the greatest impact on society, associations, and most every profession they serve. Never in history has there seen so many technologies moving at such a fast pace. Unlike the previous revolutions, the fourth will happen much faster and will impact every being and company on the planet, with millions of jobs being replaced by technology in a few short years, impacting economic models, the way we work, new government regulations will be required, and how we serve our constituents will change dramatically. The question for association leaders will be, how do we define the new business model and new ways to work beyond the wage economy? Rapid shifts from the experience economy to the on-demand economy will need to happen. So we've experienced for some time that many of the traditional associations are behind when it comes to technology and ability to provide customized services to their constituents. So this has become very difficult for many of the organizations. In the next several years, it's going to be important that boards and executive staff to be able to be challenged to move faster and in order to stay relevant. So today, this is just a model of kind of what we're living with technologies today. We're able to get even closer to our customers and become more familiar and responsive with technology. Mass customization of products and services is more readily available, and the opportunity to harness data and sell it. Yet for many of us, we haven't considered how we can harness data and become even more responsive to our members and constituents' needs. So one example, as you all know, is LinkedIn. LinkedIn has become a disruptor to associations, not only just for the community, but with the integration of SlideShare and Microsoft. The Microsoft now owns LinkedIn and lynda.com, and they have the ability to have detailed profiles of more than 3 billion professionals globally, with the ability to serve those looking for jobs. They can provide training resources, they can provide education, and LinkedIn has truly created a digital, overall digital representation of the world economy today. So the digital vortex is the inevitable movement of industries towards the digital center, in which business models, offerings, and value chains are digitized, to the maximum extent possible. The industries charted are the most likely to experience disruption by 2020. As industries are drawn towards the center, they are caught up in a rapid, constant change and increasing competition. Although associations are not included in this analysis, aspects of the association business are reflected in education, media and entertainment, hospitality, and travel. Also note that associations represent all these industries and professions that support them. The following graphic explains the framework for Industry 4.0. Industry 4.0 focuses on the end-to-end digitization of all physical assets and integration into the digital ecosystem. You can see that new product development and optimizing existing products and services are the greatest area of growth for analytics and manufacturing by 2020. So what does this mean to me and my association, you might be saying? Well, in order to thrive, we must find ways to address what we're calling the market of one, knowing the needs of an individual and not just the group, engaging in new and different audiences, and most likely go globally, and looking at the way that we communicate with our constituents. So, what do you need to transform your organization for future success? So what we've learned that in order to succeed and stay relevant, associations must respond to a diverse global customer, as technology has enabled us to have a truly global audience. We must transition traditional business models to digital models, become agile and flexible. As we're doing these interviews, we've spoken with many large association CEOs, and these executives that we've spoken with who have flourished say that they've evaluated their strategies year to year and no longer work on a 3 to 5 year strategic plan. So it's really important to be responsive to customer preferences and become an ecosystem, as there's opportunity to remain relevant by being the hub for content and resources for the industry that you serve. So other things that we've learned, growth and innovation comes with cultivating staff talent to meld the for-profit marketing and product development business acumen with the inherent strength of a nonprofit organization. It's also important to engage diverse, distributed, and expandable workforces and consider project-based resources as you grow. Two large association CEOs that we recently spoke with noted that they have several boards and criteria for experience in the subject matter or business area on which they serve on. This is a very interesting discussions that we had on. Some of them had 7 boards that reported that they reported to. So it's a very different and interesting business model. It will also become increasingly important to work with experts, create partnerships in order to innovate. You may need a much different expertise depending on the product development needs. We've seen organizations purchase this expertise through acquiring a company, to creating financial partnerships, to offering new products to their members. So we recently had the benefit of interviewing Steve Lieber, the CEO of the Healthcare Information Management Society. And one thing that Steve said was, a challenge all associations share is the current proliferation of information. Associations position themselves as the source, but today, so many sources exist, many of them trusted sources. The ease and low cost of acquiring information on a variety of subjects is a trend impacting all elements of society. Associations must deliver on expectations of fast delivery of information, constant changing interests, and evolving demand. All of the above, in order for associations to thrive and excel in the future, they must be willing to expand their influence and recognize opportunities for growth. So where do we get started? So our think tank came up with questions to prepare you and your leadership. While we have asked these questions to ourselves in our brainstorming workshop, we believe that it would be a great place to start having these discussions of your future with your boards. So some of these questions included, what do we need to be doing to prepare our constituents to thrive in Industry 4.0? With the rise of social media networks, will people still want to belong to professional and industry groups? What is the future of membership, education, certification, and events? Can associations play a role in increasing transparency? How do we connect and engage with potential non-traditional collaborators who can help us achieve our mission? How can a new way of thinking open doors that we haven't unlocked in the past? If we really take the public part of our mission seriously, how would it change who we serve and how we serve? How can we meld the millennial innovative mindset with the boomers' need for significance? Some other questions included, will traditional sources of revenue still exist? How can we monetize relationships and engagement with non-traditional audiences? How can we monetize data? And do we have the type of interactions with members and customers that will allow them to create an intimate understanding of each individual in the organization? So while nobody can predict the future, these are all things that you want to start thinking about as we move into the next industrial revolution and Association 4.0. We've challenged each other in our think tank to ask the questions about the existence of association certification, and have had some interesting discussions that we will start providing some of that output and content to you as we move along in our discovery. So thank you today. If you like